All right, hi everyone, it's me, Kira, and today I am just going to be breaking down the pose and position of Chaturanga. So what we will be using today, I'm going to be demonstrating with blocks. I highly recommend blocks if you've been following my videos or tuning into my classes or coming to my classes in person. I always recommend that yogis have and use blocks just in case, and they're a great way to level up your yoga practice and level up your workouts. So I'm going to be using two different types of blocks today. There's all sorts of blocks. You can get cork blocks, foam blocks, wood blocks, different shapes, different sizes. So what I have for today is my ultimate favorite yoga block. I'm not sponsored or being paid or anything like that. I just genuinely love these blocks. These are the Manduka cork blocks. They're nice and thick, you can see. They're really good for especially inversions and just being really sturdy for balancing poses. So I love these. They're always my go-to. And then I have one smaller foam block. I don't know what brand this is. I got it from just a sports store. So this one is foam. It's much thinner, you can see. It's lighter. So different blocks to use for different things, and you'll see later on why using a smaller foam block is going to be more useful than this big one. So let's go ahead and get started. Chaturanga, it is a position in and of itself, but it is a transition in sun salutation. So we transition through high plank to Chaturanga, and it is often done incorrectly. There are common mistakes that people make, and one of the most common ones that I see people doing is inflating their ego, wanting to be really strong. There's nothing wrong with setting goals for yourself, but I firmly believe that it's better to always dial it back and slowly build up your strength until you can properly do a pose. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and I'm not making this up. I did Chaturanga on my knees for about a year, multiple times throughout my practice. It was my go-to before I really felt strong enough to hold the pose correctly and move through the transition in the healthiest way for my body. So highly recommend to do that. So I'll just start off by showing a couple of the most common Chaturanga mistakes. So in a sun salutation, we come into high plank, okay? Like so. And in high plank, you really want to be pressing away from the floor. My elbows are spinning towards the top of the mat. I'm using external shoulder rotation. I'm not letting them come in. I'm not caving through the chest. I'm pressing firmly away. So in Chaturanga, what we want to do is shift the weight over the wrists and then keep the elbows hugging in towards the rib cage, and I'm lowering down all in one position, and then I don't touch the floor. I'm hovering here in Chaturanga, and then I inhale and I transition up into upward facing dog. So ideally that's what we want that yoga pose, that asana, to look like. What happens a lot is we flow quickly through our sun salutation, and so individuals come into high plank, they don't shift their weight forward, they just drop their body down. I see this a lot. This is not Chaturanga. It is fine if you need to come onto the belly, and if you're taking cobra rather than up dog, that's okay, but we don't drop down to that all willy-nilly, okay? And then people just kind of flop themselves up into up dog. And they lose the beauty of that pose and transition. They lose the intentional movement with where we're strengthening and what we're doing. Another really common mistake that I see is going forward, dropping this part of the body down first, then the hips, Or vice versa, dropping the hips and then lowering and coming in to cobra or up dog from there. So we want the whole body to move in one piece. And that's why I recommend doing chaturanga on your knees until you really feel strong enough to transition with the entire weight of your body. So what we're gonna practice today with our blocks is making sure that we're coming down into chaturanga all in one piece. Okay, so I'm gonna take one block about to where my chest is gonna go. I'll take it on this height first. And then the other block is gonna be about hip distance, okay? So I have both my blocks set up here. And then I'm in high plank, and we'll do this modified. So I drop to the knees, I shift the weight forward, elbows stay in, and my chest and my hips should hit the blocks at about the same time, okay? And then I press up and away, and you can come into upward facing dog. So let's do that one more time. Shifting the weight forward, I'm actually gonna move the position of this block just a little bit. So shifting the weight forward, elbows in, slowly lowering, really using the muscles of the shoulder blades, squeezing the core, and coming onto the blocks at the same time. So that's a really good way to start testing out. Am I moving all in one piece? Can I lower down onto both blocks at the same time? Or is my chest going first, or are my hips going first? And what do I need to strengthen to get everything moving at the same time? So if that's feeling easy, you can take your blocks down a level. Same thing. So lower onto the knees, shifting the weight forward, lowering into chaturanga. And this is about as low as you would want to go anyways. I don't want to go lower than this. I can feel my chest gently touching. I can feel my pelvis gently touching. And then we would inhale and transition into upward facing dog. Okay? And my pelvis is still gently touching that block. I'm not moving crazy amounts through space. I'm really keeping my body slow and controlled and in the same general area. Okay, so that's my recommendation with blocks. Also, you'll often see if you're starting to kind of level up and transition into this is placing the blocks about shoulder distance apart. Hands are behind it, so if you're feeling like you're getting stronger in your chaturanga and like you're lowering at the same time, shifting the weight forward, shoulders to the blocks. Inhale for upward facing dog. Okay? I teach this like this in my classes, and I often use another drill. So our foam block is going to come into play now. So this is really good because we've been focusing a lot on upper body strength for chaturanga, but we don't want to lose sight of our lower body strength and what the muscles of our low body should be doing to help support us as we move through space. So this is going to wake up those inner thighs. So we're going to take our foam block. So as you can see, I have this block specifically for holding between the legs. Sometimes I use the cork ones, but they're bigger, they're bulkier, they're heavier. And here we just want to take attention to be gently squeezing. Those can be a little bit hard to squeeze and hold, especially when we're going to do it through a transition. Okay, so we're going to take our foam block, you're going to stick it up between the thighs so that you can squeeze it. So I'm really squeezing here. I'm activating my inner thighs. Okay. We're going to hold that now between the thighs. So just slowly moving. I'll take my second position here. Still going to do it on my knees, okay? You don't have to be in a full high plank to still get the benefits of this. So squeezing the block, inhaling, shifting the weight forward, slowly lowering, inhaling for up dog. And then you can even exhale and transition through to downward facing dog. Squeezing the block the entire time. Actually, you can get this block maybe even a little bit higher. Good. So this is a great drill to bring awareness to your inner thighs and how you should be moving through space. all in one piece. So now I'm in high plank. I shift the weight forward for chaturanga, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the block, slowly lower chaturanga, inhale for upward facing dog. Exhale for downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Whoa, didn't say that very good. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, cool. Let's inhale, gently lower the knees towards the mat. You can take that block out from between the inner thighs. And you just repeat those transitions as many times as needed to build up your strength. And that's it. Leave a comment if you have any questions, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will be putting out a new video every week, so stay tuned. Let me know if you have anything you'd like to see. Thanks.